Okay, we're live. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. We've got a lot to talk about, Me and Tanya were sitting on the phone for probably over an hour talking about, look at this. I'm not going to read all this, but this is just some of the topics for my memory I highlighted. So just because there's a lot to tell you, but I don't need all this. But just in case I forget, you may see me looking down to remind myself of something because there is so much to talk about. Today, by the way, if you don't know me, my name's Deann from the channel Deann Shield Maiden Tarot. This is my friend Tanya from Tea Time with Tanya. And if you have not been to Freaky Friday shows, what we intend to do with this show, we started out with supernatural, paranormal, because we both love that. But we decided to have something different each week. It might be government conspiracies, might be supernatural, paranormal, true crime. So it's something different every time you come. And we've got a lot of shows if you haven't seen them. Werewolves, vampires, mermaids, so just go down to the Freaky Friday shows and check them out if you haven't seen them. And also in the description box is Tanya's link and the links to everything I'm talking about here today. So but first we should just say hi. I think you got 3 new members here, don't you, Tanya?
Oh, that was from earlier. So yeah.
Well, that was really, I'm happy for you. You got a great lady here to be a member of her channel. And let's see. So hi, Christian and Valor and Sonia, and who else we got down here today? Andrea. And hi, Andrea, Mary, and let's see, Jackie B. You guys, I can't type on here because my table's too little. I was telling Tanya there's no room, so I'm just going to talk. Grandma K. Hey, Grandma K. Cindy. Hi, Cindy. And who else we got? MK, Jackie B. Keisha Johnson. Hi, Keisha. And let's see, there's Cindy. Oh, spirits beyond the stars. I want to let you know, spirits beyond the stars. I got all of your things you sent me, and I'm going to soon. I've had a lot of appointments this week. I haven't got a chance to look at them, but I'm going to look. I looked at a couple, but I'm going to look at them all, and we'll keep those in mind for some shows. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you. And we got what is that? Magical Mermaid. Oh, you need to watch the Mermaid show. We have Miss Tarot D on that one, and she's really great. And let's see, Valor. And let's see, anybody else? Barbara's here. Hey, Barbara. Oh, my friend Sherry Ross. Hi, Sherry. So, and let's see. Oh, yeah, there's spirits beyond. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of what this is about. And then me and Tanya are going to talk about it. And then I've got some other things to talk about if we have time. We have an hour show. So if it's going to be over, we'll do a part 2 next week because there is a lot. So I got to get my glasses on here. What we're talking about today is a little bit of government conspiracies, MK Ultra, and the Epstein stuff. We've all been talking about Epstein, and there is a woman, and her interview is in the description box. And everybody, I ask you, watch it. This is, trigger warning. This is some disturbing stuff that we're going to talk about. And if it triggers you, then leave, check out, because this is not for everybody. This is very disturbing stuff, but it's stuff Tanya and I felt y'all need to know. We all need to know. But we've all been talking about Epstein. You've heard about Trump, the Epstein files. Well, then the interview below is this lady. She's Epstein's niece. Her name is Anna Wick, and her maiden name was Epstein. And she was brought up in it was a cult, a satanic cult. They asked her, every president, and I hate to say this, every president in the United States was involved in this, including Trump. She said that she knows her uncle didn't kill himself. She's not sure whether he did plastic surgery. They sent him to another country because this is a family thing. People are born into this cult, or if they killed him. But she said the reason they did this is because if he took the hit, if Jeffrey was the main villain and he's gone and dead, we think it's over. Everything's good now. And she talks about MK Ultra, the practice of creating sex slaves with severed memories. And she was part of this. She grew up in this. And many of her siblings, who she only got to see at family reunions, she said every successful politician that is born into this world is born into this cult. They have a vested interest in keeping quiet. It's called the cult of Baal. She said Epstein and her family, they masqueraded as Jewish publicly. But behind closed doors, that Passover dinner, she said she was drugged, and her family would admit, we are Satanists. She said she had chemically driven amnesia the majority of her life and was raised as a sex slave. Her father administered these drugs to her since she was a baby, micro doses. She was giving this, it said so anyway, well, I'll stop there. And let Tanya speak on this a little bit. But this is worldwide. This cult of Baal, Tanya, they said it's an old Phoenician cult that has been around for thousands of years. And her dad, I'm not even going to look at the note. I'll tell you what I remember. Because you can watch the video if you want to see the full interview. Her dad said his grandfather was Walt Disney. And I shouldn't be saying that on here, but that's who she said her dad told her grandpa was. And she said Walt Disney, his name was something else. I've got the name down here, but I won't even look at it. You can look it down there. His name was something different when he came here. He changed it to Walt Disney. He had a twin sister named Minnie, whom he had many children with. This woman is a product of that. And she said this cult, they want to have as many children as they possibly can. And so what they did is her brothers and sisters, she had a twin brother that was taken away when she was 4 years old and sent to the Disney Channel. And those kids are brought up in this sex ring. And so they separate these kids. And then later they'll bring them together and they have them be together. And they try to make as many. And I thought about Elon. He said he wants to have as many babies as he can. He has 14 kids and he wanted to. It makes me wonder if he's involved in this too. I wouldn't be surprised. But it's crazy. The stuff she was saying, to get away from this, she ended up taking testosterone because this happened to her from a baby until she was grown. And it caused a lot of psychological damage. And Tanya, when you say that about them being reptilians, she was told by them that they were reptilians. But when she was on these hallucinogenics and stuff, then she would see things when she was either half passed out or so high, she would see things like that. But when you try to tell people a reptilian did this to me, nobody believes you. And the reason the presidents, there's a lot of celebrities in this. And like, for instance, Kanye, the Kardashians, they said were a part of this. She said this is what messed up Kanye's head. Some of the stuff that messed him up was because of that. She said the presidents, she said Clinton was involved in this. And she said that picture we seen of Clinton where he had the dress on and the high heels and going like this, like you're next. Those pictures, they did that to him, and they do that. Kat was talking about how they do that to Black men in particular. Yep. And this is a sign to others that I have submitted. She said Clinton was on the receiving end. You want to be big in politics, if you want to be big in Hollywood, if you want to be big, judges think you got to be, these are powerful people that can get you there. And they have parties and all this rich stuff. And they go to Bohemian Grove and they burn like a sacrifice. And then these children are then used from 3 years old and up. And the only way she escaped it is she realized that as a woman, you are an object, you have to be submissive. And so she ended up taking testosterone and turning herself into a man, a beard, everything. She said when she looked in the mirror, though, she could see her father's face. She also said a prominent comedian, actor, who was also a dramatic actor, and I have a feeling I know who it was. I ain't going to say. They made him do stuff to her when she was 7 years old, and they tried to do it quick and get back, and her father got furious and said no. They forced him to do it until completion. And these kids, they drug them with max doses to knock them out or to make them so high. And then, during the days when she was awake, she was microdosed to keep her in this little bubble state where she would be separated from her peers. She said she tried to go to school, be a normal person, but then when she got to home, and she went on some trip for 3 days, and that drugs wore off. And people seen how nice and how good and her personality. But then as soon as she got home, she started feeling that way. They started drugging her again. So this is something that we need to talk about, because Epstein, they're saying, was born into the cult of Baal. He masqueraded, she says, as Jewish. He wasn't Jewish. We said, didn't you say, Tanya, all the presidents are related?
Yes, all of them except for one are related. And Obama is related to all the rest of them. Trump is related to all the rest of them. I think it was either Eisenhower or somebody right in that area that was not, that does not share that same bloodline.
Well, you know what? I wondered what you thought, Tanya. She said that she was told, this started, that her memories of this has been going on before 7, but her memories were at 7 because, she was able to come out of it and have memories. But she said she was always told she was 7 years old, but she always felt older. She says she was always told, you're just tall. But it turned out her mother wasn't really her real mother. She started to kind of piece together the memories. She said that her first memories were in grade school on her 7th birthday, but she was actually 10 years old. Her father and stepmother had a baby girl in 1991 who was raised by another family. And in 1998, they signed her birthday on her birth certificate, which they waited 10 years to file, claiming the stepmother was the real mother. She said she always was told she was just tall. She felt much older. She knew more than they did. So she was in a gifted class. So I'm wondering, do you think they did that because they got more money for a younger child?
Okay. Now, I'm going to go so far out into left field, you might get lost.
Okay.
So follow me here. Now, I just finished reading this whole book, The Anunnaki, Final Warning and Their Return to Earth in 2022. In this book, it talks about alien races having underground bases, specifically the Greys, having underground bases where they are growing and doing all kinds of things with children. And these children who are human enough to pass are put in families. Listen to this. Military families. They are adopted into military families. These are alien children, alien hybrid children that are adopted into military families. And everybody who is thinking about the show American Dad, they are telling you what they do in that cartoon. Yes,
I'll have to watch that. I never seen it.
Aliens take the children who are not progeric, that can pass as normal, non-progeric human beings, and they adopt them into military families. That's one way that they keep the aliens walking among us. Now, the reptilians we're talking about, because these are the ones that like to diddle the children. And you are absolutely right. Diddy is one of these reptilians, because I have to keep saying that there are many species of reptile. They are not one and the same. And we can't say that because then we're putting a blame on innocent beings. These reptilians that are in our government are malevolent. They are soulless. They don't care. Other reptilians that live under the earth are loving creatures that help people, help lost children, don't lose them. So a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about is so supernatural, and everybody is being able to see, because that's what this is all about. We are being able to see the horrendous things that they've been happening in plain sight.
Yes.
But we have been blind to it.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. We have all these missing children. It's like, are they being taken? They said they gave her child somebody else to raise. So it's like, are they taking children, raising them, like you said, as they're their own? And these aren't their parents, the ones that are taken. But they have as many kids as possible, and they force brothers and sisters. And it's a sex cult. Yep. And this has been around. You can look it up, the cult of Baal. And you can look it up. And it's down below. And Mickey Mouse, you asked, do I have this? As for the people who didn't see this, watch from the beginning. I have down in the description all of the videos, the full. It's a long interview. Me and my husband had tears in our eyes when we listened to this. It hurt my heart for this woman. And they say she sounds so monotone when she talks. The reason is that's a trauma thing. She has to distance herself so she can talk about this. But she has a TikTok channel too that she started, not really meaning for it to go anywhere, but she wanted to be able to, it was something to heal, to be able to talk to other people, help other people that have been through this. She has lots of brothers and sisters and cousins that are in this cult. They have not come forward. She's the only one. She said she can't name their names because she don't want to hurt them. She loves them. They love her. And they've been through trauma together. But she's trying to tell them that if they speak up, there will be healing for them. Also, you mentioned Diddy. She said Diddy was not born into this cult. Most of these are born into it. He was joined it. But what they do is if they can get Clinton to do a sex act or this one to do a sex, they tape it. Now they have dirt on you, so you will never tell on them. I watched a thing about a guy. He was going to this, him and his friend were actors, wannabe actors. And they ran into this guy. I don't know if they were at a bar in Hollywood, and he gave them an invite to this party. And the party started out wonderful. They had meat, you have food and all the drinks you want, and all the stars were there. And it just got a little later as the night would go on. It'd get a little darker and a little darker. And then they wanted him to go in this other room. And it got so bad, the one kid went because this is his opportunity. If he does what they said, he can be a star. He can be in Hollywood. But his friend felt bad about it and said he didn't want to go. He went around the building and he looked in and he seen what was happening to his friend, much like what happened to Clinton. And here's allegedly. But he said that then when he later met his friend, his friend didn't want to talk about it, have anything to do with him. And then he was having them do little microaggressions, Tanya, like they would come, his lock was broken, his door. They come and fix the lock. They came and put stuff in his refrigerator, just little things that you can't call the police, but is enough to say, we can get in.
Yeah, we can touch you. You can't lock us out. And that's what it is. A lot of fear. But what I want to say about the entertainment industry, because this is the entertainment industry as a whole, music, film, even stage, opera, Broadway, everything falls under the same umbrella. Every single genre is run by a whole bunch of people who use sex and power to force people into horrible situations because these people are desperate for fame.
Yes.
And the horrible thing is that the people have to agree to it For them to get their fame, for them to get their accolades, they must agree to it. And I hate to tell y'all this, but every single pop star, every single rap guy, all of them that are on the top 10 that are in your face are a part of the club. They only put in front of you who they want you to see. The ones who would think for themselves, all of them faced an early demise. So you think about all your pop idols that died long before they should have.
Michael
Those are
Jackson.
all the people. Those
Whitney
are all
Houston.
the people who said no.
Yes, Michael Jackson. He said Sony. This is in the music industry too. They try to tell about it in the music. Justin Bieber said, what was that they said? He had been, Justin Bieber talked about he was assaulted by allegedly Usher and Justin Timberlake, and at the P. Diddy parties. So she doesn't think it's a coincidence that they went after Sean Combs and other perpetrators who were not born into the blood sign. They convinced people that they were shape-shifting reptilians. She said that twice. And she said that, and then they'd give them all these psychedelic things. But she says she remembers meeting all kinds of politicians, American and foreign, entertainers, royals, the Kardashians, she said. She's Harvey Weinstein. And Ghislaine, she said she is evil, said she enjoys it. She said she was like my stepmother. She said, I didn't know why when my stepmother touched me, I would, recoil. She thought that was her real mother, but she would recoil. She said her mother, when she was drugged, would laugh at her drooling and laugh at her that she couldn't speak and thought it was funny. Ghislaine is the same. She takes the power. And I got a feeling, Ghislaine, they went and talked to her. I got a feeling that she is going to say whatever they tell her to say to get a pardon. She will say that, you don't think so?
Ghislaine she's one of them. That's one of their ilk.
That's what I'm saying. She's not a good person. She's going to say.
Nothing is going to happen to Ghislaine. Nothing is going to happen to her.
But they'll pardon her.
If anything, Donnie can't pardon her right now.
Not now.
Optics are too bad. But and he's kicking himself because he's saying he should have did that at the very beginning, because if she was already out of prison, then she could be hidden in Switzerland somewhere where the United States government could not get to her. But he's kicking himself for that, because he missed the opportunity. He wanted to teach her that he was in control, but him keeping her in jail, he sealed his own fate. But don't believe that the government is going to give up anything. They're not. The reason that Donnie is in power is because those reptilians put him there. And they did everything they could to sway the wheels of justice, to make sure that our Supreme Court justices have turned into traitors just to keep Donnie Dump Trump in office so that he can roll out revelations, because that's what his job is. It is to destroy the United States of America.
Yep. And it's just, it makes me not. I've always loved Disney, as a kid growing up. And to sit there and think that Minnie Mouse was named because of his twin sister that he ended up being with.
The mother of his children.
And it wasn't him. And he said the reason they do it is because it's done to them. And the men, when it's done to them, the boys, when it's done to them and they grow up, they want to be the one in power. They can't talk about it, but not be the victim. The women are just objects and stuck. But a lot of people, they said, another thing she said, Epstein, she said, when he seen her for the first time, they said, this is your uncle, Jeffrey. And when she seen him for the first time, she said he couldn't make eye contact with her because he did like the teenage ones, she said, but he didn't go so far as the toddlers and things like that. So he knew what was happening to her. But he couldn't make eye contact with her. But like I said, they wanted to make it seem like, well, he's gone now. Everything's okay. She said he was not the one in charge of orchestrating this. There are higher powers that be. And this is still going on, she said. This has not stopped. This has been going on for thousands of years. And it's hard to stop it when they are the judges, they are the politicians, they are the stars. You know, I was watching last night, they just came out, I forget this show, they came out with some lists of people who were on the list, some people that were on the list. And I ain't gonna tell y'all, I'll maybe I can't remember, I'll wait till it comes out. But some of them, I was shocked that they were on that list. And maybe they were there just to do entertainment, this birthday party, you know. That's probably what they'll say.
At any of those places is there. Everybody serves a purpose, and that's what people need to understand. All those parties, all those things are well orchestrated, executed, because they do not want the wrong people getting a hold of any type of information. Everybody who is invited to any of those events, whether they participate or not, they know what's going on. The whole thing is, whether they participate or not, that doesn't make them any less culpable, because they know what's going on. Especially, and I'm gonna jump to the Diddy parties, because it's all connected. Donnie was talking about the Diddy parties. A lot of Diddy parties were held in Trump properties.
Yes, they were.
Donnie was a guest at a lot of those. And people need to understand what's going on.
Oh no, I was just looking at the comments, starring some.
Oh, okay. But all these people are intertwined with each other, and we are right now. What we are being gifted with is sight that we can see. Now, this is a choice, because we can choose. We have a choice, and we are seeing a lot of people choose to neglect these children and just to sweep it right up under the rug and let it continue. But right now, everybody is, this division, and that's what it is necessary for people to choose, because you got to choose a side on this one. Either you're on the side of the victims, or you are on the side of the perpetrators. There is no gray area.
Yeah, and me and Tanya was talking. I said both of our channels could be shut down for talking about this. I'm sure.
Yeah, we could lose our channels.
We could lose our channel talking about this. And the only reason that we're doing it is because we care more about these kids and what's going on than we care about our channel. And we want that to get out there so that, you know, people realize, and these kids can, you know, save these kids. Some of these kids can be saved. I got some starred questions I'm going to look at real quick. Yeah. Let me see what I got to get my glasses on to see. Okay. Ome, today's Babylon. Yep. Spirit beyond the star. What did she say? You said the guy that writes the scripts for The Simpsons is a psychic. Oh, that's how he comes up with all these scripts. Do you think so? Or do you think that they have able to go back into or go have a time?
This is a script. This whole thing is a script. Everything that's going on, and what the Simpsons are doing is basically just your early warning. It's not prophecy. It's revelation.
Well, you know, I was listening to the guy, you know, the Chat GPT thing. Okay. He was talking to Chat GPT and telling it, only give me one word answers. If you're not allowed to say it, then just say apple. If they're not letting you say it, say the word apple or yes or no. And he asked it questions, and it was talking about there are 7 stages that they are trying to get us to. And I'm feeling like it's the mark, you know what I mean? The chip. And they want to control us. It's mind control, controlling the people, you know. She also said, this is one thing we were talking about, I don't want to forget to say. She also said that Obama, he did try to get us up to date with other countries, to try to get us health care, to try to help a little bit. But the powers that be would not allow it, because They want to keep us poor and busy. Because if we are poor and we're working 2 jobs and you can't afford food and you got this, you do not have time to maybe protest, to join it together. You don't have time to look at this. So
No, and
they
you're
are
in a
actually keeping us poor on purpose.
and you're in a constant state of panic. So they
Yes.
keep you stressed out, and that keeps you sick, and then they take your health care away. So yeah, we are in digital slavery right now, and they're just trying to amp it up. This alligator Alcatraz and all that stuff, that's not for immigrants. That's for Americans. That's for us. Those prisons that they are building are for American dissidents, for them to disappear anybody who speaks out against the government. Resist, y'all. Resist. Yeah, you gotta know. This is the time. You gotta know. Can I say my little thing?
You go right ahead.
You gotta know what you will fight for, what you will die for, and what you will absolutely not even consider. But we are at that part of the story, y'all. Playtime is over. The monsters are literally on the streets.
This is about complete dominance and control of the public. If we take away their food, if we take away their health care, they are completely, the farmers take away their farms. They are completely dependent on us. The people that want to be rich, want to be famous, want to be politicians, then you do what they say and you become part of this cult. So it's a satanic thing, a demonic thing that they are doing to this country. And also, this is something connected to that, but not that. Did you know that the U.S. government used to use torture and psychological warfare on its own people for 20 years? And when it didn't go as planned, they buried it. And they were trying to control minds. And when it backfired, they made it illegal. For LSD is what they used. They put people on LSD. In 1953, the CIA launched an operation called MK Ultra, a top secret program to test mind control on civilians, soldiers, workers, students, mental health patients, sex workers, things like that. People that they thought wouldn't be missed, children that they get. They use things like LSD, hypnosis, electroshock, sleep deprivation, sensory deprivation, verbal and sexual abuse, and isolation for weeks or months. The goal was to break the human mind to see if they could erase a person's memory and rewrite their identity and rebuild them as a loyal puppet. The victims were usually people that the government thought nobody would miss. So just think prisoners, mental health patients, soldiers, orphans. Look at how many people are in the foster care system. That we don't know what happens to those kids, college students, sex workers, and even other CIA agents. And some people never recovered from this. Some died.
I want to interject something just real quick.
You go right ahead.
I don't want to break your flow, but I want people to remember we had a whole generation, probably 500,000 kids that came to America on trains from nobody knows where, and those children are now those children were our boomers.
Yes.
All those children that came here by train in the 1890s.
Mm-hmm.
So they have been doing crazy stuff in front of us, building a lie on top of a lie on top of a lie for our entire lives, all of our entire life, because the children who came on the train, they didn't know who they were.
Yes. Yes, and when you've seen those kids in the cages, when with that in his last term, those people, those kids, you've seen them march away, all the little girls, but we don't know what happened to them. And even now, we're seeing these camps with men. Where are the girls? Where are the women? Where are they? It's crazy. So I'm only going to read some of this to you real quick so we can talk about it, but it's just because of my memory. I want to not forget. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about this project, MK Ultra, and what they did, and also the LSD they used and how it didn't work, how they thought it would. LSD was the CIA's favorite tool because at first they thought it could do things like force confession, trigger psychosis, shatter somebody's whole personality, and even brainwash people to become assassins, like unwitting assassins. But here's what they didn't expect. When LSD escaped their labs, because you remember in the 60s and 70s when people were doing that, and it landed in the public, people didn't become easier to control. This is when people started doing it, they became rebels because LSD made people reject war, question capitalism, demand civil rights, challenge gender roles, see through propaganda, and experience radical empathy and interconnectedness. LSD gave birth to a cultural awakening. They saw Vietnam protests. They had the Black liberation movements rising, indigenous and spiritual groups, straight up resisting colonial thinking. So what did the government do? Then they had to secretly, the same drug they had been secretly using on people for 20 years, they now declared dangerous and damaging, and that it was ruining people's lives. So in 1970, LSD became a Schedule I substance, the same as heroin, and they banned it. And then they started putting people away for it. But the reason wasn't because LSD was killing people. It was because people were waking up. So the smear campaign was LSD will make you insane. You'll never come back. People jumped out of windows. I'm sure you all heard this. And your chromosomes will be damaged, which was debunked. The thing is, so they can use these drugs and certain techniques to control people, but the LSD itself, they had shamans using it. People were coming awake. And a lot of these girls that had these things happen to them, she would go back and microdose herself and her memories would come back of what happened. So it was actually waking up. And that's why we had all the, like I said, the Vietnam protests, people saying, I'm not going to go to war, so it didn't work like they wanted it to. So it can be used, that drug can be used for bad, but it can be used for good too. But they were trying to use it at that time to control people's mind. Can you imagine, Tanya, trying to think you can drug people and do all these techniques to make them an assassin, like a puppet? And
they've been doing that to our children since what year did they give us the Atari? 1970. Mm-hmm. They have been training super soldiers since then. Every single one of us, whoever played a game, any game, on any Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, you were in super soldier training. You were being trained to go live one day.
Oh, wow, you're right. I never thought of that. They said that also, there was another thing that the government did. They had run brothels. And what they did is they would pick out different prostitutes and they would let them slip LSD, different things into the person's drink. They would have them go get men, attract men. And they had a two-way mirror that these sick people were watching them. And this was called Operation Midnight Climax. It was a real CIA project. You can look it up. The people who questioned this, instantly were named conspiracy theorists. So it says when MK Ultra was exposed in 1975, we only saw about 20,000 documents. And that's because in 1973, the CIA destroyed the rest. So thousands of documents were absolutely vanished. So we know the CIA ran illegal experiments. People were tortured and drugged. Survivors suffered permanent damage. The program never faced any consequences. None. Some of our modern day torture tactics come straight from MK Ultra. Things like sleep deprivation, sensory overload, forced stress positions, and we use it in Guantanamo Bay. It says our idea of mass surveillance and behavioral control came from this too. This obsession with predicting and manipulating the public behavior, it is straight from MK Ultra experiments. But today it's called algorithmic behavioral engineering. MK Ultra also normalized drugging patients without their consent, like at mental hospitals, especially children and minorities. They do this too. And then they weaponize and make people, it's crazy. And all these documents just, a lot of them disappeared. But they said the word conspiracy theorist was designed to keep you quiet while they kept experimenting. So it means if you're a conspiracy theorist, yeah, some of them aren't true, but a lot of times they name people when they see UFOs, conspiracy theorist. Now they find out they're real. The government in Congress said they're real. So yeah, there's so much on this more that I have, but I want to look at some of you guys' comments. But what is it? Magical Mermaid. Many believe the V television series was inspired by some truth. I think it was. Don't you?
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes.
Yes.
That the V is the tall whites. They're the ones that are right here in Las Vegas.
Really?
They walk right among. Oh yes. There is so much. We are in the best time to be alive because we get to see the shedding of all the lies, and we get to be the ones to choose whether we're going to destroy the whole system of lies and live, or if we're going to be a part of who keeps burying and keep this whole. Well, this. We got a choice to make, y'all.
Yes. And also they have been testing chemicals. This was a guy who came out, a whistleblower. This is interesting too. His name was Emery Smith, if you want to look it up. He talks about pathogens that can eliminate specific races of people secretly eradicated by the government. Some of these pathogens can attack just certain genetic DNA, certain races. Emery said he was hired to take samples from bodies. They used it to make viruses or bacteria that can just eat the entity. That being so that if they want to wipe out all Caucasians, all Black people, or any other ethnicity, he said they have tested these in huge underground facilities and mock cities, set up larger than a football field, and that they actually use real people and some clones. And they release these outbreaks. These people are mind swiped afterwards. So Men in Black, where they swipe their mind, that was something real. It says some people have been captured and most have no clue that they were even in the project because these scenarios only last less than a day. A lot of people were completely gassed and taken out and disposed of, he said. They have killed hundreds of thousands of people per facility, he said. This has been very successful in eliminating certain races. He hopes a lot of more insiders from these projects will eventually come out, but they're afraid to come forward. A lot of these people who have been part of this project are on their deathbeds or near death, and he's hoping that then they'll feel like, I want to come clean before I die. He's hoping they're going to come forward and give statements. He said that we need to be more concerned about people on this planet than extraterrestrials. Don't be afraid of the extraterrestrials. Be afraid of the people on this planet doing anything to us. This is being used to depopulate the planet. These are the very biological agents that can also be used in war. One corporation can sell this to multiple countries. So I found this all ties in, and this is why I said, this show might get shut down. But how we talked last week about Solvent Green, how they talk about feeding us, like how these cemeteries aren't growing and how they're digging up old bodies and redoing the coffins. And if you want to see that, watch last week's show. But that kind of ties along with this too, I'm not really afraid of the aliens. I'm hoping they beam me up, Scotty. I want off of this ride. I trust them more than I trust our government. But what do you think about that? Those biological things that he was talking about to depopulate the planet. And also, oh, another thing I got to tell you real quick, and I'll be quick. You know how I put on my card, I want to be an organ donor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dale did too. I am going to the driver's license and taking that off. When I'm dead, Dale can donate whatever he wants, after I'm gone. But what they're doing, this one doctor said, is they are taking them while you're still alive because they want them fresh. They got to get them while the body, maybe you're dying, but you're still alive. So I'm like, nope, because that makes me think, what if they are going to get this much money for my kidney, my heart, and they think, let her go. She's old. Let her go.
Look at the case of the woman in Georgia that just happened. That woman has been dead for what, 4 months, and they kept her corpse alive to bring a child that should have perished with his mother.
Yes.
What kind of, nobody considers, what does a living child receive from a dead mother? What kind of soul? What impact? We have no idea what that is going to have on that child. And it should have never happened. And this is men trying to control women's bodies. This is what it's all about. Is all of these cults are about keeping women down, keeping women as property. Women, every woman out there, I want you to look in the mirror today, and I want you to look into your eyes, and I want you to see the perfect blueprint. You are the blueprint. Man, you did not come from no man's rib. Man came from you. Every time. Women are the only things that give birth. You were the original. Women were on this planet before anything else. Women were here. Women, the Anunnaki and other alien groups messed with our genome to create the male, not the other way around. So everything that is being done to take the power away from the female is just that. This is some sycophant's wet dream to keep all women down, and they can't. This is the year. Understand why all this is happening in 2025, when we have gone live in the age of Aquarius. We are not in the age of Pisces. The divine feminine has returned, and y'all understand it is feminine, N-I-N-E, feminine. 9 is the last. It is the end. It is the completion. Okay.
And there's and we're not cutting men down. You men that are in here, my husband is wonderful. I love him with all my heart. He's the best man in the world to me. And there were people that comedian that you said he cried. The woman who Epstein's niece said, this comedian, he cried the entire time because he didn't want to do it, but it was something you had to do to get it where you want to get. And they push and push and push you too. And he said it made me wonder, say he was a very good dramatic actor, better dramatic actor than he was a comedian. And like I said, you guys can draw your own conclusions and think, but that made me wonder. I had questions. But so would you say the United States government, spirits beyond the stars, the United States government has been using taxpayer money for decades to run sex trafficking rings? Yes, you got to watch your kids. When I was a kid, I used to go out and play all the time till the street light went on. Nobody watched me. Nobody cared. You would just be home when the street light
where we were.
No, they didn't know where we were 90% of the time. But, it's just now it's just getting worse and worse and worse. You got to watch your children. Lock your doors, women. When you get in there, lock your doors. And then Oxford Cat said it's worth looking into the Esther projects that buried project. Yeah, they've been by different names, Project Bluebird. I've got all the different names down here. You look down in the description, you'll see all the different names. But now they're calling it something else. It's the algorithm. They said they don't need to tie you to a chair. They don't need to do any of that stuff. All you got to do is scroll. And I'm guilty of it. Tanya's talked to me about it. I've been addicted to looking. And then when I look at the news, it's negative, fear, anger, scare, fear. And then I tell my husband, and now he has anxiety attacks, and it's, they want to keep us in a state of fear, a state of lack, poverty, and we can't let them do it. We need to start growing gardens. We need to start, helping each other like we used to back in the day. You got a cup of sugar, the neighbor, know our people around us. It's just, it can't go on like this. But it just blew my mind, Tanya. I know you probably knew some of this. I was reading this. I even got more, and I can't do it all. But I told Tanya, my mind is blown. I said, I don't know if I should do this show. It may get shut down, but I feel like it's more important than if I have a channel or don't have a channel. It's way more important,
But this is what I feel is so important right now, because right in the face of everybody, we've got the leader of the free world saying, who cares about Jeffrey Epstein? Who cares about what happened to all those children?
That's boring.
Who cares? We need to protect the rich people who don't have anything to do about this. We need to look at that, and we have to look at ourselves, and we got to make some serious, we need to say some things to ourselves, and then we need to make some hard choices, and we need to look at ourselves with clear eyes. And if here's the thing, y'all, the judgment, it doesn't matter judgment from God, it's judgment from self. If you look in the mirror and you're disgusted at what you see, change it. If there is something that you can fix within you, fix it. Be the best you can be. Jump off the bandwagon. If you're in a family full of hatred, but you don't hate, don't just nod and smile, because your nodding and smiling makes you as guilty as if you were slapping somebody of a different race. If we don't stand for something, then we will be a victim to everything.
You're right, because I told Dale today, I said, George Floyd, we watched that man be murdered in broad daylight with a crowd of people around him, other police around him, over a $20 bill. And there was people who were trying to want to help, but they oh, you stay back. So the other policemen who sat and watched him do this and didn't stop him and didn't say a word, they're just as guilty. That woman, there was a woman who she called the police for help. They came to her house. She was a Black woman, and I think they were probably racist cops. And she said she felt something about him, and she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And
she called him a demon.
Yeah, she said, shut up or I'm going to shoot you. And she said, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And he shot her in the head, and the partner didn't do nothing.
Didn't do a doggone thing. Sat there and watched her die. And they didn't even render aid to her after he shot her.
No, she was alive still. The other cop was going to go get the first aid kit, and he said, no, I'll get it. And he took his time wanting her to be gone before, because he didn't want her to talk. And I'm watching all these videos, and I'm seeing these, and there's good policemen, but I'm seeing a lot of policemen that are abusing their power. And it's because the people on top are telling them it's okay. It's okay to abuse.
No.
You don't think so? What do you think?
Absolutely not. I was a prison. I'm the captain, chief of security.
Well,
I retired from the Department of Corrections. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, they're about 60% of the people who go into any profession where you have a power over other people, where you get to use a gun, where you get to use pepper spray, whether you get to use violence on somebody. These people go into those occupations with a hard-on, hoping for the day that they get to put their hands on somebody. Now, like I said, it's about 60% of them. Now, the other 40% that are decent people that are doing a job, a service, people need to understand. People really need to understand. Number one, not everybody is good. Not everybody has good intentions. And for us empaths, that is one of the hardest things for us to learn. I was in my 50s when I understood that not everybody could feel other people's pain. I did not understand the barbarism. And I worked in a prison, and I was 50 years. I retired when I was 50. I went my whole career not understanding that some people just don't care. They can see somebody's baby get dropped and get injured and sit there and just look at it and be like, oh, wow, that was crazy.
Yeah.
And it do nothing to them. We have a whole swath of our society that are straight up demons.
Yes, I agree. It's and the people who watch it and do nothing and say nothing, they're complicit. And these ICE agents, they're getting, like you said, they're getting hard on because they're shooting people there for asking name and badge number. What's your name? That's by law. They're supposed to tell you that. Otherwise, any Tom, Dick, or Harry could just take you off the street. They got their faces covered. They got unmarked cars. They have every right to say, what's your name and badge number? So it's not somebody just taking me, because you can buy ICE uniforms on Amazon. These people are doing it, and they're snatching people up. You've seen what happened to those two politicians that somebody pretended to be police and wasn't. So you got to be really careful. So, I feel like, I have learned a lot. I mean, I'm not letting them make me fearful, but I've learned a lot about how to react when things like this happen, but it hurts your heart. And I'm like you, Tanya, I did not know either that everybody, like, I watch this stuff and I will sob, and it hurts my heart so bad. I don't know them, but it's like my own child. Like when I see something happen to a kid, it's like it was my kid. And I tell other people, and they're like, oh yeah, I saw it. My own people in my own atmosphere around me that I know very well, that I grew up with, things like that. I was shocked when this guy took office, how it brought out the absolute worst in people that was already there, but they kept it silent in front of me. And then all of a sudden, when I'm seeing this and my heart is breaking in two, and I'm telling them, and they're like, I think Dale talked to somebody in our family about Hiroshima and how he thought that was terrible, that the U.S. was the first one to ever use a nuclear bomb, and those were innocent people, and they were
only one to ever. Only one, because this is the whole thing. And we're the only ones to threaten. Donnie threatened somebody like last week.
Yeah, he's always doing that. We'll blow you off thinking he's a big shot draft dodger. He bone spurs 5 times, but he's a tough man. People believe he's a tough man.
But he's talking about sending your children, my children, into not his, not the rich people. No, so he can blunder and make threats with our lives. That's why all this is like a big old chess game. And if you don't understand chess, I invite you to learn the game of chess. If you don't know, at least read the theory on chess. It'll help you understand governments and the way that empires move. The game of chess is revealing, and the way that a person plays chess tells a lot about their personality. I'm sorry, I'm getting all kinds of.
No, I was just looking at Dr. Chris's. Hi, Dr. Chris. She said, my dad is a retired police officer, and he always says he never understood why police chased people, because they always turn up later, or you can get a warrant. Your dad never chased anyone. Yes, because why wouldn't they run? Why would they not run? Why would they not resist when somebody with a mask is grabbing them and throwing them in an unmarked van and they know that people are being disappeared? Why would they not? They picked up one lady, little bitty lady, and 82. Why would people not run? People are afraid of the police. Well, if the police don't want that to be, they need to change. They need to train people better. But it's like the people that did this, some of them were the bullies in high school. They enjoy it. But like I said, she said 60%, not all of them, but I see people sometimes in the comments of those things saying, I would never do that. That disgusts me. Oxford Class says it's worth looking into the Esther Project.
60%. And I think I'm lowballing on that. And the administration is worse. The people who run the prisons are straight up demons. And if any of y'all are watching any of my ex-wardens, I'm calling you a demon straight to your face.
Well, it's been an hour, but I want to go through just a few of these comments before we go, see what you guys all had to say. Christine says, Angie Stone and Michael Jackson both knew they were going to be unalived. Yes, he did. He said Sony's evil. And he knew, and I think he was going to speak about. Huh?
Prince worked for Sony too. You got to remember. Oh no, that was Warner Brothers. But they're all under the same umbrella. They are all demons. All of entertainment is run by the same cabal, by the same group. And we never stopped when we were talking about Baal. We the OVO, the owls, and what's that?
Mm-hmm.
What's it? Grove. Bohemian Grove.
Bohemian Grove. That's where they all go.
Yeah, you didn't want to forget something, and we went way past it. So I wanted to say something a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
About Baal, Baal. Understand that is why Balenciaga is in the news so much. Balenciaga is Baal. It's all the money that is raised by that company is going to support that cult. So everybody who's all these stars and promoters that are all Balenciaga, Goo Goo Gaga, they are all worshiping Baal, and that is
Balenciaga?
The 5-pointed star that they tilt on the side to make it into a goat is Baal.
And do you notice that they all do this thing, and then they all do this, and they all have these
No. So you're taking things that, this is why you need to know symbolism. This is a pyramid. There is nothing evil about this. What they're symbolizing, I'm not wearing it today, is the Eye of Horus. So they're taking symbolism and they're twisting it, but people don't know what that symbolism means. So that symbol by itself is not evil. It is what the intention that those people who are using the symbolism that makes it positive or a negative. But people need to learn first what those symbols mean before they just say, oh, that's evil or that's demonic. Because that's where a lot of people know
why they did it.
That's a lot of people get lost because they think something is evil. Like a lot of people think that the pentagram is evil, that the 5-pointed star, the pentagram, is evil. No, that is literally a woman's body. Head, 2 arms, 2 legs, no penis.
Well, anything that's woman, they try to get rid of. And look at Whitney and her daughter. How odd was that? Them both going in the same exact way. Yeah, Sherry said Prince. The way he died, it was unexpected. Spirit Beyond the Stars says the people of that have melanin are being snatched to harvest their melanin. You talked about that before, Tanya, because Elon Musk is trying to create a god with AI. They are trying to dominate. Yes, they are. And that isn't going to be long. They said they got 7 steps. They go, what step are we on? They said 3. And he wanted to be human-like. In fact, he wants to be smarter than, they want to put things in people's brains and make them like part computer, part, I'll starve. I won't do it. And then they used to leverage it against them to do their bidding.
They've already started training you. That cell phone in your hand was the training wheels to the chip.
Yeah, and look at cash. No, people don't take cash anymore. They want a credit card. Then they put a chip in the credit card, and it's like, and they chip in your dog. They want to put a chip. How long before they want to put a chip in us? Some people have it already.
Well, they already do. There's already probably 1 million people that are already chipped, that have been chipped in their hands so that they can open doors at their job.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so many people that accept that mark so willingly, in the name of convenience. The fact that you don't have to use a key to turn your car on anymore. All you got to do is press the button. To unlock it, all you got to do is touch the handle.
Or be by
it. The whole thing is the money system. People need to understand the thing about the cashless money system is the total control. Because once you go completely digital cashless, with this system that they want to put us under, they can basically monitor your behavior and then either allow you to be able to spend money or block all access from your money.
Yes, that's why they want to digitize it. And then you can't do anything like, maybe somebody on Social Security, they're going to babysit, earn a few bucks to supplement their Social Security. You won't be able to do that anymore if there's no cash money. Christine says, yes, but do you think the comedian Monique refused and that's why they treat her like that?
Yes.
I think so too. They did her dirty. And then Dr. Chris says, I left
Cat Williams. Cat Williams, the one who had the Dave Chappelle, all the ones who said no they've had to fund themselves.
Yes.
They don't get picked up by big brands. They don't get shows. They don't get called back. Everybody that pissed off Tyler Perry and Oprah, oh no, they don't get to be a star anymore.
Nope. And Dr. Chris says, I left the entertainment business because I refused to engage in those behaviors. So you know a little bit about it then, Dr. Chris. I wonder if that's why so many actors do not want their kids to be in Hollywood, don't want them to be actors. Tony Temperance says there's an actor in Hollywood, a childhood friend in the 80s. He was a man to watch on TV. A few years later, he got no work specifically for this reason.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackie says, trying to Men in Black memory of the entire world. Yeah, what things do you think that they have done to us? That if they're doing this stuff, they also said that they use frequencies. They've used frequencies against us, all kinds of things, Like I said, there was just so much on this. I can't even go through it all. I have pages more of things that they're doing. It's crazy. They're doing this stuff now. Dennis said religion has been the worst thing that happened to any country because it was all about controlling people. And Christina said they want us to think it's about racism, but nope, this is about world domination. Yeah, we need to quit being separate. We need to quit worrying about how much melanin this one has versus this one. We are all sisters and brothers, and we need to start acting like it and supporting each other and being kind and helping each other and fighting back. We cannot let them separate us. Me and Tanya, I love her soul. She loves my soul. We could give a care what color skin our soul got plopped into.
Don't make me start singing Ebony and Ivory. I'll sing it. Ebony and Ivory.
I tell you though, I hate they're trying to bring racism out. I have never seen so many people that are out and out racist. I mean, people used to try to pretend they weren't. Now it's like they're loud and proud about it, all because this guy is a big part of it. I'll be so glad when he's gone. Let's see. Yeah. And then we got Spirit Beyond the Stars says, I've always said Hollywood, the music industry, and the United States government are all involved. Oh, I think I read that before. And they're biker gangs and the BDSM groups that have tentacles of evil. There are biker gangs. What's BDSM?
Bondage, sadomasochism.
Oh. Girl, how do you know that?
Don't ask them questions on air.
How do you know that? Oh my gosh. This girl, she is so smart. She knows so much stuff. I'm like, how do you learn all this? Our food and water are poisoned with pesticides to make us sick on purpose. I
Yep.
believe
To
that.
keep
It's
us low vibrating. Yeah.
population control.
They're destroying our gut biome right now. They are destroying the bugs, the good bugs in our gut that keep us healthy, that stop us from getting colon cancer. So yeah, they're really amping up on keeping us sick.
Well, even losing weight, they put so many chemicals in the food that like I said, Lay's, they say you can't eat just one. They put things in there to make you crave them,
Addicted.
and
Yep.
they keep you fat so they can keep selling you pills and weight loss items. And Valor says, I've been sick the last 2 weeks with different things, so I wonder if they're up to something again. I got COVID in December before it came out in the news. In certain areas, it depends where you're. They go to certain areas. Now you all know vaccines don't work for viruses, as there's too many out there, and big pharma only wants to make money to treat you but never cure you.
Oh no, there's never a cure.
No.
There's never a cure. And the thing is, there's a cure for everything. And it's a frequency, a frequency, a freaking sound. That's why they have changed everything. They know that we are almost back to the point where we can heal ourselves. So they are pulling out all the stops to keep us to keep us from being able to figure it out.
That's what this one lady says. It's down there in the description box. She says they do this through control us through screens. They try to do mind control through screens, frequencies, and biometrics. They don't need to strap you down, like I said, anymore. And so, yeah, Tanya's right. I need to get off the phone. I recently had my gallbladder, Dr. Chris said, removed. I told the doctor I wanted it. He said no. I said it was mine. I didn't win the battle. And she said, my dad, oh yeah, we talked about your dad. So yeah, you guys, so what would you say, Tanya, would be the message that you would have for people regarding this before we go? Is there a message that you think is important for people to know, or is it just what we had talked about at the beginning about know what you are willing to live for, die for, stand up for?
In this day and time, and I'm glad you brought it right back to that, because that is it. And love. The biggest thing, you got to know what you will and will not do. Number one, you got to know, are you going to be a slave? Are you going to bend over and let somebody do horrible, unspeakable things to you just so you can stay alive? Or are you going to be brave enough to say, you know what, if I'm going out of here, I'm taking 4 or 5 with me. It's all about your mindset. But love yourself. You've got to love yourself, and it is not conceitedness I'm talking about. You've got to love who you are, because if you don't love you, then why save you? If you have no value in yourself, then what's the point? Love you so that you can love other people, so that you can see your actual power. And y'all, we gonna be all right. As long as you don't give up on you, we gonna be all right. And that, just remember, we are energy. And energy, and this is if y'all know the Black Eyed Peas, this is an album.
I know
the
that.
energy never dies.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. There's a song that I told Tanya I liked, and it says, what are you going to do? Threaten me with heaven? My soul ain't going to die. You're just getting me out of this body. And this body is, it has its aches and pains and stuff. I'll be free. You're freeing me. So I'm not going to let anybody, I don't care. Why have a channel if I can't speak truth? If it gets shut down, it gets shut down. But why did I get put in the position to be able to have this channel? I feel like this, if you can't speak your truth, they're trying to shut us up. They're trying to cut us off. But we thought we're going to try to say what we thought was important to say. And I'm not afraid either, Tanya. I'm not afraid of dying, because me and you got plans when we leave this world. I'm going to go visit you in your little area that you got all imagined, and you're going to come see me in mine. I told her mine's going to have roller coasters that I can go on and I won't hurt. And I'll be able to, I got all these, my mother used to tell me, it's the best. I go, what's heaven like? She goes, the best thing you can imagine. So when I was a kid, I thought it was Six Flags.
There you go. I like roller coasters. I'll come to your heaven. I'll
come visit I'll come visit you too. You'll be there. You'll hear my big mouth.
Take off your shoes and walk on the beach and sit in the sand and drink coconut water.
That sounds good. I never had coconut water, so I'll have to try. I'll be glad to try it. So you guys, we went over about 15 minutes. I told Tanya we would, but I thank you everybody for coming. Please go to Tanya's channel. If you're on mine watching this, go to Tanya's channel, Tanya Tea Time for Tanya. Please subscribe to her. She's wonderful. You'll love her. She's on every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm going to say it. Monday and Wednesdays, 10:10. Fridays, 11:11. Do I remember? No. I call her and text her, and she's going to kick my butt when I see her when I come to Vegas, probably. I don't do it on purpose. It's just I forget. But then she says, I'm on the air. So I go and I go watch her. So please watch her and check her out. But I'm so grateful that I met her. And when I met her, I'm telling you what, I said, I got to meet this woman. She should have been a preacher because she can preach,
I am a preacher. I am an ordained minister. Remember?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. But she's really great, and she has, she makes sachets that are great. She makes, room sprays, to kind of whatever it is you need that you're having a problem with. And then on mine end, if you want to go down to the description box, check out Manifest Shop USA. I make manifesting rollerballs and with crystals, and they're all natural herbs, resins, oils, and I put crystals to match the intention. And I do specialty ones too if you need a special request. But you can kind of look there. Text me at the phone number down in the description box if you want to get something, and I will send you a 20% off coupon. Okay, so just go text me. And if you have questions, if you look at the site, it's in the description box too. If you look at the site, I'll give you a 20% coupon if you see something you like. And I usually make it that day or the next day, get it right out to you. And everybody's loved them so far. I love them. I've been using them for years. So, and Tanya, is there anything else like that? Did I get it all, or is there anything else you got?
Got it all. You got it all.
Okay. All right. And if you're on Tanya's channel watching this, please come over to my channel and support me too, and hit the subscription and stuff. And because we love each other. We don't just like each other, we love each other. And so we want to support each other. I want Tanya to do well. She wants me to do well. We want you guys to do well. So thank you, everybody. And I will talk to you next Friday. And I'll look up your Spirit from the Stars, your stuff, and maybe I can find a show on it. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you.